Good morning. This is Daily Hebrew Declarations with Daniel Jedediah Cook, and I'm reading the declaration for today, January the 12th, 2021. The three Hebrew letters we're honoring today are Mem, Lamed, and Shin. Along with those three living letters, we're also honoring the spirit of understanding and the spirit of might. The declaration today reads this: the depths and potential, troubling of the waters. As we learn to teach, and as we teach, we are teaching with a heart that understands true knowledge. We are laying hold of the things of Yahweh and not letting go. Today's declaration began to stir up some things that I have been thinking about over the last little bit. And I heard a gentleman by the name of David Sachs that told a story from a Rebbe that to me fits perfectly, not only with today's declaration, but just things in general, especially things that are going on right now. And as it applies specifically to this first part of this, the depths and potential, the troubling of the waters. And as we learn to teach. And as we teach, we are teaching with a heart that understands true knowledge. Okay, so that's where this is all fitting in together. But the story starts off like this, and there's a Rebbe who takes two gentlemen and he sits them in his office and he begins to have a conversation with them. And as he's talking to them, he asks one of the men. He says, "So tell me, what are things like in Odessa?" Now, this story is set in Russia, and I believe, if I'm not sorely mistaken, there is actually an Odessa, Russia, as well as Odessa, Texas, and a few other Odessas throughout the U.S. here, and maybe in other places as well. I'm not sure, but he says, "Well, how are things in Odessa?" And the gentleman goes on to say, "Oh man, they are just absolutely on. There's a move of God that's going, that people's hearts are melting and mending. People are coming together. They're working together. Things are going absolutely awesome. You know, we've got some things that we need to do to put some things in place, but it's beautiful here." And there's so much going on. And we see the hand of Yahweh moving in everything. And so the rabbi says, "Oh, wow, that is absolutely awesome." And he hands the first gentleman 10 rupees. So then he turns to the other gentleman. He says, "So how are things in Odessa?" And that gentleman said, "Now, I don't know about this other guy. I don't know what he's talking about. You know, I've been in Odessa all my life, and I don't see the things that I'm seeing." Excuse me. I don't see the things that I'm seeing, that this gentleman is seeing here. You know, things are rough here in Odessa. There's a lot of situations that are going on. People's hearts are far from Yahweh. People's hearts are far from understanding. They're speaking doom. I can see things that are coming upon Odessa that are tough, and it looks like hard times are ahead. So I don't know why this gentleman would lie to you about all the things that are going on in Odessa, but he did. He lied to you. The Rebbe says, "Oh, wow, thank you so much." And he goes over and hands the gentleman 1 rupee. The gentleman instantly became angry. He was like, "Now, wait a minute, Rebbe, why are you punishing me? Because I told the truth. I spoke the truth. You know, I told you about the things that are going on in Odessa. I told you the reality of what's really going on. You know, how is it that this gentleman over here gets 10 rupees when he lies to you and tells you that things are beautiful and awesome and all these things that are going on, and I'm telling you the truth and you give me only 1 rupee?" He says, "Why, Rebbe? What did I do? What did I offend you somehow?" The Rebbe turns to him and says this: "I wanted to see which Odessa you were living in." Let me pause there for just a moment. So, I want to see which Odessa you are living in. You see, the depths and the potential are found inside of us. The depths and the potential of Almighty Yahweh are in the place of our relationship with Him. You see, the kingdom of Almighty Yahweh is within me, right? I remember that song we used to sing as a kid. The kingdom of God is within me. I fear no defeat, only victory. Why? Because the kingdom of Yahweh is right here. Now, once again, we are lively stones that are being fitted and joined together to be connected as one. And in that connection, the kingdom of Yahweh begins to expand even greater, because the kingdom of Yahweh in me connects with the kingdom of Yahweh in you. But sometimes, how can two brothers walk together unless they agree? How can two walk together as one unless they agree? The thing is that one of the things that Yahweh has been speaking to me about is, how do you see something? Remember, you guys have heard me say this before, but how do you see it? What do you see, and how do you see it? And yet, why do you see it that way? Because answering those questions helps me to then formulate, am I seeing this from the position of my own heart, or from the position of my own flesh? Or am I looking at it through the eyes of Almighty Yahweh? Am I learning by the things that I look at? Yes. Am I learning by the way that I choose to see them? Yes. Am I learning by the way why I see it that way? Yes. So now you see why Michelle has said, as we learn to teach. As we teach, we are teaching with a heart that understands true knowledge. You see, first thing is, and I heard Dr. Yana say this, and so I want to give honor to Dr. Yana for saying this, and she just articulated something that was already inside my spirit, man, anyway. But I love the expression of what she said. I'm a student first. That's the most important thing. I'm a student first. Well, I've been saying it, I'm a son first. Both are true and both are right. And she would agree with that as well, because we're both students and we're both sons. But in that place, I want to learn of Yahweh. I want to understand. I want to see through his eyes. I want to take in the heart that he has. I want to stand on his heart and feel his heartbeat, look through his eyes and see the love that he's pouring out. So as I learn, I'm learning to teach. Yes, I'm going to learn to teach because it's just a natural outcropping of it. When I begin to learn something, then it's almost a desire and a push to then be able to teach others. Hey, I found a truth. I've got a truth that I want to share with you. Then we're teaching. You see what I'm saying? We're teaching of the truths. That's what I call sharing the treasure. Because when Yahweh gives us a treasure, it's meant for us to be shared with one another. It's meant for us to connect with one another. Now, don't get me wrong. There are treasures that Yahweh gives us that are uniquely ours. There are things that Yahweh gives us that's between just us and him, and that's it. But there are many things that he gives us that is meant to be taught, or concepts from that are taught, or revelations that are taught from those personal things that are then taught. So we're not learning just to teach. We're not learning just to go out and teach. We're learning because we want to know him more, but at the same time, it's going to cause a river of living water inside of us as we begin to desire to speak that and to teach others about what Yahweh has shown us. See, this is the place where a heart understands true knowledge. This is the place where a heart understands true knowledge. And true knowledge is meant to be shared. We are laying hold of the things of Yahweh and not letting go. I never want to let go of what Yahweh has given us. You see, there's a lot of things going on. I want to go back to the beginning of the declaration today, because again, it talked about the depths, the tehom, and the potential, and the troubling of the waters. One time I had a vision, and I saw Daniel in front of me, Daniel the prophet, and he was standing on some water that was just barely rippling. And I noticed that he was just looking intently at me. Not sure why. At least I still don't understand why. But he was looking intently towards me, and I couldn't see him. But over to the left, Enoch was there. I could tell he was there because I could feel his presence. And it's almost as if Enoch grabbed a hold of the water and began to shake it. And when he did, of course, the waves that were coming up around Daniel began to raise higher and higher and higher. And I knew there was a connection because at that moment the vision stopped. And I knew that there was a troubling of the waters. Out of this place of the troubling of the waters, this is where we go into the depths. This is where the potential of Yahweh remains.